Did Israel have advanced knowledge of the October 7th attacks? That may be the case according to new reporting by Israeli public broadcaster Kan. The Israeli Defense Forces Gaza Division reportedly distributed an internal intelligence document on September 19th, 2023, outlining the details of Hamas's planned raid. Within that document, IDF officials described witnessing Hamas militants conducting trainings that mirrored what came to be the October 7th attacks, and that they expected Hamas to take between 200 and 250 hostages. While that exact number of hostages taken is unknown, it's estimated the number is around 240. But despite the document's alleged specificity, Israel didn't act on it. Israel mistakenly believed, the Times of Israel reported, that Hamas would never be able to get past its high-tech border security, an iron wall composed of concrete tunnels and razor wire, complete with remote-controlled machine guns that was installed 2 years before the attack. That oversight prevented top Israeli intelligence leaders from doing anything about the internal report detailing Hamas's plans, Kan News reported. As of now, it's unclear if this document is the same one that the New York Times reported on in December 2023 that detailed similar intelligence failures in the run-up to October 7th. In that investigation, the Times detailed a document that described a methodical assault designed to overwhelm the fortifications around the Gaza Strip, take over Israeli cities, and storm key military bases, including a division headquarters. Hamas followed the blueprint with shocking precision. The document called for a barrage of rockets at the outset of the attack, drones to knock out the security cameras, and automated machine guns along the border, and gunmen to pour into Israel en masse in paragliders, on motorcycles, and on foot. The document circulated widely among Israeli military and intelligence leaders, but experts determined that an attack of that scale and ambition was beyond Hamas's capabilities. So there's a couple schools of thought here, Cenk, and I'm curious what you think. Is this just hubris that they thought, oh, it can't happen to us? Or is this something that a lot of people, even in Israel, think they let it happen? They let it happen for political gain. What do you think?
Thanks for watching. Our audience has helped build TYT into the media giant it is today. Together, we can accomplish anything. Support our work and join us at tyt.com/team.
As things stand now, without further information, that's of course impossible to know. We weren't in the room, we don't know. But there are a lot of things now we do know. So number one, if you're an Israeli citizen, I'm not talking about, oh, I need you to care about the people in Gaza. I get it, I've seen the polling. Unfortunately, you don't, okay? I'm sorry, but the polling's overwhelming, okay? I'm not talking about Palestinians, I'm not talking about the rest of the world. But Netanyahu, 100% is responsible within Israeli leadership for October 7th. I'm not saying that Hamas is not responsible. Of course, Hamas did it, they're responsible. But if you're the leader of the country and you claim your number one claim to fame is, oh, I will keep you secure. I'm doing all of these wars and all of this bombing to keep you secure. That's why. That's your ostensible reason, right? That's what you said your entire career. We'll vote for the right wing. We'll start wars and keep you secure. We'll occupy the Palestinians. We'll crush them and we'll keep you secure. Well, brother, if you didn't keep them secure, you failed spectacularly. Now, how many times have we heard worst attack against any Jewish population since the Holocaust? True. And whose watch did it happen under? Netanyahu. Both of the scenarios are awful. Scenario number one is he let it happen so that he could stay in office. That's unthinkably outrageous, right? So we'll come back to that. But okay, let's not go there. And some people will say, oh, well, you don't know, it's conspiratorial. Okay, no problem, leave that. So then you have only one other option, which is total incompetence. His security division of the IDF in Gaza explains exactly what Hamas is going to do. They're 100% right. And this buffoon goes, nah, don't worry about it. I mean, that's his best case scenario. His best case scenario is, I didn't really care to look into it that much because I'm arrogant, I'm overconfident, I don't really care about the lives of my citizens. That's why I'm overconfident. I don't care. You guys died. Hey, I stay in office longer. Oh, golly, oh, I'm so worried. Well, if you were worried, brother, you would have done something. You would have done something. So there's no question that Netanyahu's totally responsible from a leadership perspective here. So now the only question is he a buffoon who cannot keep Israel safe under any and all circumstances? In which case, you'd be nuts to reelect him and keep him in office. Or is he a worse kind of monster? And so, look, guys, we talked about this a little bit yesterday when we heard this news breaking. I don't think the governments do the conspiracies that the theorists say. Like, oh my God, they planted the things on 9/11, and then they have nonsense conspiracy theories like, oh, did you know that the Mossad told everyone who was Jewish to leave the World Trade Center? Well, I was just at the 9/11 museum, basically they put up there, the memorial. Tons of Jewish names, totally not true, 100% lie, not at all true, okay? So, okay, it's not like the US government did it, Dick Cheney did it, etc. And I don't know what happened at all in 9/11. But in some of these cases, it looks like they either try to stop things, which is most of the time, but some of the times, we can tell 9/11 same exact thing. They go to Crawford, where Bush is on vacation for a month in August, right, in Texas, at his ranch, and they say Bin Laden determined to attack inside the United States. Not as specific as this October 7th warning, which is like had it exactly right?
Yeah.
But a significant warning, Mr. President, you have to do something. And Bush said, you covered your ass, go home. Did nothing. Well, then you're a loser, and you let, and so look, again, best case scenario for them is total incompetent fools. And it's always the right wing who huffs and puffs, oh, let's do more war because it's gonna keep you safe. And it's always the right wing that fails and never keeps you safe. And then the other possibility is, well, whether it's Bush, I doubt it's Bush because he's so dumb, or Cheney or Netanyahu, by the way, both neocons. And the neocons have said it's not related to religion. Dick Cheney, Don Rumsfeld, et cetera, are not Jewish, et cetera, et cetera. But neoconservatives as an ideology wanted 7 wars in the Middle East. And that's a fact, they printed it in public, you can look it up. And Iraq was first, and voila, 9/11 happens. Iraq didn't do it, but we invade Iraq anyway. So, and then October 7th happens, and then they go annihilate Gaza as they want to do. Take some buffer zones is one of the plans that Netanyahu has, which is take more of the Palestinian land, bomb the hell out of Lebanon, start a conflict with Iran. Lebanon and Iran are on that list. So I don't know if they let it happen, but I don't think that it matters either way. He's completely irresponsible. And it would you're gonna get attacked again because he's either callous or indifferent.
So the New York Times report details a document that allegedly dates back 2 years prior. So I really don't think it's the same document, but it does show, hey, over time, something's going to happen, you should be prepared. And the fact that they potentially ignored 2 documents laying out with moderate to high specificity exactly what Hamas was planning to do, and that nothing was acted on, I think you could chalk it up mostly to hubris. But I do think what you're saying is right. There are moments where governments will just turn a blind eye to something like that because it's expedient. And if you see Netanyahu, just like Ben-Gvir, who have an interest in expanding Israel's territory into Gaza and the West Bank, this would be a moment to do that. And they have decimated Gaza. There is no day after plan, which is why Benny Gantz left. It seems like that creates an opportunity for them to go in and just create new settlements there. Goodbye, go to Egypt, good luck. If you're still alive, it seems like there was a moment where at some point up the chain of command, they just decided not to pay any more attention to it, even though it cost innocent civilians their lives. And for all of these rallying cries, for all of these complaints and gripes and protests and messages in the media and talking points about the need to protect civilians and return the hostages, the best way to protect all of them would have been to do something about this, would have been to be ready and be prepared. Instead, they didn't. Innocent lives are lost. Even more innocent lives have been lost as a result of the October 7th attacks by the hands of Israel. And who's to blame? When you're the prime minister, the buck stops with you. So even if it was just hubris, it's still his fault.
Yeah, last 2 things for me. Look, you can't, pretend that you're outraged by this idea if you're Netanyahu when you let either, let's say through your incompetence, an attack happen that you were very specifically warned about. Then it helps you politically completely, right? It keeps you in office because of the war situation when you were deeply unpopular and potentially about to be removed. And then you continue and it helps you ideologically do the thing that you always wanted to do in Gaza. So when people connect those dots, maybe they should and maybe they shouldn't, but you can't feign outrage like, oh, I can't believe people would think that just because someone handed me a memo telling me exactly what was gonna happen and then I didn't do anything about it and then it wound up helping me politically and ideologically. I am shocked and chagrined that you would think that I did that on purpose. So we're fair, we don't know if it was on purpose, but it doesn't matter either way. And lastly, Israel, for the citizens. So 37,000 Palestinians are dead because somebody had to be punished for what happened on October 7th. We just talked about how Hamas is 100% responsible, of course, for the actions that they took. But in terms of, if you were going to pick someone who was the second most responsible for October 7th, you'd have to pick whoever the leader was. It could have been a left winger, it could have been anyone, right? But it was Netanyahu. You'd have to pick the leader who was in charge, got a memo saying it's definitely going to happen, and then didn't do anything to protect you. So those 37,000 dead Palestinians aren't going to reverse October 7th and aren't going to keep you safe for the next October 7th. But getting leadership who actually cares about you, cares about protecting you and getting the hostages back, as opposed to a guy who only gains from more war, more violence on both sides, that to me would be the logical way to go, but we'll see what happens in Israel.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.